Hey guys, Pat Ryerke here, also known as the Patriarchy. Kicking social justice and all kinds of ass in 2017 and beyond. Oh, Samantha Bee, you disease. Samantha Bee, how you try too hard to please. Samantha Bee recently did her alternative to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where she roasted the press and the president, and, as they say here, and then she went and had an interview with Jake Tapper on CNN. The wonderful Jake Tapper, the guy with the highest level of integrity in the business. CNN comedian Samantha Bee told CNN's Jake Tapper on Sunday night that she didn't think there was a smug liberal problem. Of course, the obvious irony of all of this, as we all know, is that Samantha Bee is one of the absolute most smug liberals out there. Not only is her show smug, her comedy smug, her attitude, her answer to this, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like, I don't know if she was trying to make this funny on purpose, like being smug while answering that question. But, I don't know, it kind of backfired because it just makes her look like an asshole. The host of the show, Full Frontal, spoke to Tapper on State of the Union, fresh from hosting her thing, yeah. Asked by Tapper about the role of comedy in the Trump era, Bee said she and her team mostly did the show for ourselves. Obviously. It's a bunch of people who think that think this shit's funny sitting around together. I've watched so many Samantha Bee clips and videos, and it's at that Amy Schumer level of cringe. It's just really obvious jokes and try-hard shit, and she tries to be shocking and different and funny, but she's just very plain. She's like any amateur comedian you would see in a bar or something. And her whole bit, any kind of satire, if she says it's satire, she tries to claim it's all for humor and it doesn't matter, but her stuff totally has a mean bent and a bias, and it's not fair, and and the stuff that she gets sources from, she gets her sources from Salon, BuzzFeed, Huffington Post. She doesn't use any other sources for the most part in Samantha, but you can go check her sources, and it's clear she just slaps material together to be like, well, how can I attack Trump this week? And that's... I don't know, that seems lazy to me. It's like she doesn't want to spread herself out. She has this one little focus, and her show is lame because of it, because she just keeps repeating herself over and over and over again on a week basis. We need catharsis, a place to analyze things in a different way. We see things through a different filter. We just need to break it down. Bee said when balancing humor with political commentary, her instinct is always to lean in the direction of funny. Really? Jesus Christ. Well, lean the other way, because the way you're leaning has been the complete opposite of the direction of funny. Like, there was basically a sign there for you that said, this is not funny, and you lean towards that sign. When you're doing typical comedy, when you're doing topical comedy, you're walking a razor edge, and you don't want to drop over into the activism side of things too often. You don't really want to do that at all. We always err on the side of comedy. That is not true at all either. Everything she does is preaching and virtue signaling, and I mean, it's like Saturday Night Live, like, oh, we just make fun of Trump and all this stuff because it's fair. It's like, no, you don't. You guys have very specific stuff you do jokes about for the most part. I mean, it's okay to have a bias, I just wish you would admit it, and Samantha Bee's here like, oh no, I'm just trying to be a comedian, I'm trying to be fair. It's like, no, you're not. Jesus Christ, she's the woman that just called a guy a Nazi because of his haircut, and I know she donated money and apologized and everything, but still, she was just looking for someone to call a Nazi. I mean, that's how it is with her. Like, very lazy comedy. She is the female James Corden, except she's not as popular and doesn't have any celebrities on her show. I don't even know where Samantha Bee came from. They just put her on TV, and they're like, hey, here, this woman's famous now. She is on TBS. Oh, boy, TBS. Let's see. Tapper also asked Bee about a recent call by New York Times writer Ross Tuthat, who criticized Bee as the embodiment of ascendant social liberalism, and described her as a problem for the Democratic Party. So flattering, Bee said. Adding to the column was, one person's opinion. But is there a smug liberal problem? Asked Tapper. I don't think there is, replied Bee. I do the show for me and for people like me, and I don't care how the rest of the world sees it, quite frankly. Well, no, because that would mean you'd have to deal with actual criticism when people point out the problem with the show. That's great. We make a show for ourselves. Oh, awesome. We put it out to the world, we birth it, and then the world receives it however they want to receive it. It's so special. I think I can probably play the video from this. Let me see here. There's on Daily Wire. I'll try and play a little bit without getting a copyright claim.
Does he have a larger... And you've addressed this on your show, so remove yourself from it.
Sorry, that just...
Does he have a point about smug liberals? I'm not talking about you, but is there a smug liberal problem?
You know, that is something that I can't really, I mean, I just can't take responsibility for the way the election turned out. I just absolutely, I can't.
That wasn't the question, I don't think, but that was weird. I can't take responsibility for that. It's like, I don't think that was the question. I think it's asking if there's a lot of liberals out there that are acting smug about it.
Is there a smug
You told her
liberal
not to go to
problem?
Wisconsin.
I guess, you know, I don't think there is. Like, I do the show for me and for people like me, and I don't really care how the rest of the world sees it, quite.
That seems like a smug answer, doesn't it? It's like, well, I do it for me and people like me and I don't care how the rest of the world sees it. It's like, huh.
Frankly, that's great. We make a show for ourselves, we put it out in the world, we birth it, and then the world receives it however they want to receive it.
Well, we've received it loud and clear, and we're not happy about it. But B, a smug liberal herself, knows there's a smug liberal problem. The left insists insistent need to ridicule middle Americans and cater to the coastal elitists is in part what led to the election of President Donald Trump. Hardworking folks who want to be heard can only be written off as racist, sexist, xenophobic, anti-intellectuals by being company for so long before they rebel. That rebellion manifested itself during the 2016 election. That rebellion was the election President Trump. A middle finger from middle America to the very real smug liberal problem. Yeah, if they're not going to address it, if she's not going to come on here and talk about it honestly with Jake Tapper and say, well, yeah, there are people that have that. She could even say, I'm not that, but she could criticize them and go, well, yeah, there are all those people that do that. Just like if you ask a conservative, this radical conservatives, this site I'm on Daily Wire, I think Ben Shapiro started this site. If you asked him about radical conservatism, he would point it out and criticize it because he's fair. But Samantha Bee is not going to do that. That's not her point. She can't sit there and be like, well, okay, you might have a point that there's an issue with this stuff because that would go against her narrative. That would go against her comedy narrative. She can't be honest. She can't talk about this. I mean, if this is going to be a serious interview, she's talking, and then she just gives a simplistic answer after all this bullshit, all the criticism on Trump, all the attacking of a certain group of people in this country. And you know what? I want to give Samantha Bee a chance. Like, that's a shitty thing. Like, I was hoping here that there would be some clarity because I went and watched some of that White House Correspondents' Dinner thing, the comedy thing she did with the people from The Daily Show and stuff, and I watched some live streams of stuff. Very unhappy with a lot of what I saw. Might make a separate video about that altogether, but I just don't like the lack of transparency. She can't talk about the issues within the party that she clearly has a bias towards. And I was hoping she was going to talk in this interview with Jake Tapper and give me some insight to her comedy, why she does what she does, where she's coming from and all that. But these like very shallow answers just to me feel like a reflection of the shallowness of her comedy and why her show's not good and why she isn't good. And there's actually a good point in this Daily Wire article here that I'll read to you. The left's insistent need to ridicule middle Americans and cater to coastal elitists is in part what led to the election of President Donald Trump. Hardworking folks who want to be heard can only be written off as racist, sexist, xenophobic, anti-intellectuals by being company for so long before they rebel. That rebellion manifested itself during the 2016 election. That rebellion was the election President Trump. A middle finger for middle America to the very real smug liberal problem. And that's the issue. She gives an incredibly smuggish, safe answer to a question that she could have used for a unifying issue. And I know she's just trying to be like, yeah, you know, it's just a show. Don't take it very seriously. But I'm sorry. Like I said, all this time speaking about stuff that's so serious, attacking it, and then you don't have that conviction for your comedy to come and speak up for yourself and tell us what it means and stuff like that. It just doesn't reflect well on Samantha Bee. And of course, why would I expect anything more from someone who does a show like this? This is the norm now for these liberal comedians, these satirists on TV. I don't know what the fuck happened to the left. They used to be funny. A lot of people used to be funny. Comedy is taking a huge decline right now. I'm gonna give her a nickname for this, Smugaluffagus, because she doesn't see it, the smugness around her, so it's invisible. Smugaluffagus. Anyway, it's the Patriarchy. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, go fuck yourselves.